Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Megan Bentley and I'm the events coordinator for the Elizabeth Dole Foundation. We are excited that you are able to join us today for the webinar series, the Caregiver Community Connection, C3, presented by the Elizabeth Dole Foundation and powered by our partners at Wounded Warrior Project. We're also very pleased to have the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs join us as partners for this series as well. Today's C3, Maintaining Balance, Online Yoga for Caregivers, will feature Sonia Huyada with Yoga for Caregivers. Before we get started, I do want to mention to everyone that this session is recorded and will be available in the Guides tab on HHCC or on our website. Also, we would love to hear suggestions on future topics to discuss and speakers to feature. If you have any ideas, please send them to us via email at events@elizabethdolefoundation.org. With all of that said, we will take questions today towards the end. Today's moderator, Marianne Delatour, will be hanging out in the chat box. Be sure to submit any questions using the Q&A box located in the Zoom control panel. We'll be taking note of all the questions to get them answered live during our Q&A. Today, we'll be selecting several winners from our webinar participants during the episode. To enter into drawing, just engage with us in the chat. Today's winners will receive a free Hidden Heroes yoga mat or an Amazon gift card. Today's C3 features closed captioning. If you would like to disable it, go to the live transcript button in the Zoom control panel and click Disable Auto Transcription. It can be disabled at any time during the webinar. Now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming Sonia as we get started. Sonia, take it away.
Great, thank you, Megan, and thank you, Hidden Heroes team and C3 programming. It is so great to be here. I appreciate you tuning in, and if you're watching the recording, I am so glad that you looked us up, and you might hear the landscaper outside who's decided to come right in front of my window right now, but it should only be a few minutes and then it'll be gone. Today's going to be a hybrid class. We're going to start out sitting in the chair and using our chair, and then we're also going to get down onto the floor. On the mat, so you'll want to have your yoga mat nearby or available. And then if you've got a yoga block, a foam yoga block, I will show you how you can use that, where we can use it. And if you don't have one, I will show you what to do if you don't have one. If you have a folded, sturdy blanket, like a cotton blanket or a bath towel, I will show you how we can use that to help make our yoga practice more comfortable, more accessible, and just better, right? Toys make life more fun. If you don't have a yoga blanket or a sturdy towel this time, that's okay. But next time you might want to have this kind of thing nearby so that it makes the yoga better. It just makes our practice, it makes moving and supporting our body more comfortable. Let's start out by taking our seat. And I'd like to invite you to sit on the front edge of the chair. So if I were sideways, and sit on the front edge of the chair, so that you've got space behind you so that we can move the body, and so that most of your leg bone is off the chair seat. And then line up your knees and your hips so that your leg bones are parallel-ish. Lean forward, take a look at your feet on the floor, and walk or inch your toes forward so that your ankles are below your knees. Again, I'll turn sideways so I can see, so that we want ankles below the knees instead of tucking under. We do a lot of tucking under when we sit, and it tends to lead us to rounding our tailbone. And when we round down here, we round up here, and we end up doing a lot of rounded sitting and standing that leads to backache. And that's actually a lot of our aches and pains, and hip tightness is from rounded. So this class, when you work with me and play with me, I'm inviting you to open up and expand. And it begins with the foundation, where our feet are, and then how our pelvis is. Sitting up tall, raise your ribs away from your waistline. Sit up as tall as you can. Lift your armpits. And the way to lift your armpits can feel like you're shrugging your shoulders, but we want the shoulders draping. We want the shoulders down low. You can use your elbows to lift your armpits. Let's do a little circle, little shrug, waving our arms in the air, elbows out wide, and you'll feel the sides of your body, sides of your torso, expanding and lifting, raising up, but keeping the shoulders soft as we bring the hands back down to the seat. So good. I'm going to bring hands together at heart center. Join me, please, if you're comfortable doing so. And I'll begin class with one Om. Inhaling. Om. And then, as we sit here and breathe, lower your hands to your lap. And I share with you my reading. In all the classes that I teach all week long, I share a reading, and this is a reading I thought would be appropriate for today's class. It's from Young Pueblo's book, Inward, from a few years ago, about 5 years ago. It did not happen overnight, and it was not given to me by another. I am the maker of the happiness and love growing within me. It does not happen overnight, and it is not given to us by another. We are the makers of the happiness and love growing within us. All right, let's move our bodies now. Let's move our bodies. Our spine moves in 6 directions, so we're going to explore that, and then we'll do a little more exploring shoulders and hips and hands and feet. So from the front edge of the chair, let's find that impeccable seat. And sometimes that means moving the flesh out of the way. So lean to one side and move your flesh, your thighs, your hips, your buttocks, move it out of the way so that you can feel the bones of the pelvis settle in. You can feel that firm foundation. And from here, inhale, long spine, lean forward, and I'm going to turn sideways so that you can see me better on the front edge of the chair. Inhale, long spine, lean forward. And do you notice the big, long sloping, see the sloping back like the back of a cow out in pasture? This is what we want. We're letting our heart come forward, moving our ribs forward, and we're lifting our tailbone, showing off those back pockets. This is a big, long spinal extension. So good for us. Wiggle a little bit in this. Breathe as you need. And then inhale and exhale. Now we're going to roll, curl that, tuck that tailbone under, curl the spine, bring the chin to the chest, reach the arms out. Oh, and wiggle a little here and breathe. Okay, 4 more. Inhale, big, long stretch. Squeeze those elbows in order to move those shoulder blades into the center. Exhale, curl, tuck, roll, reach. Inhale forward, stretch, extend, exhale, curl, tuck, flex, get all tight. Ooh. Inhale long, stretch it out. Exhale small, and that's still a stretch. Isn't that so funny? The opposites can still be stretching. Inhale long. I think this is the 5th one. Hands on the hips, squeeze those elbows, squeeze the shoulders back, press the feet into the floor, feel the stretch here. Oh, and then push away, roll the ribs back to the chair, bring the chin to the chest, curl up small, move your belly into the spine. Oh, so good. All right, now let's move sideways. Inhale, arms up. Exhale over to the side. The bottom hand holds onto the chair so that we don't fall out. And then lean over, lean, stretch. Feel the shift in the body weight and then push down. Make sure that both hips, both pelvis points, sits bones are down on the chair. Now push into this rib cage even as we pull ourselves away, pushing and pulling at the same time. Life often does that. And then come back, feeling that stretch in our side body. Other side, inhale, arms up, reach the arms, stretch. Exhale over to the other side, hand on the chair, lean over, lean. Now push both hips down, flatten your seat onto the chair, and now push into the ribs and reach away and stretch. Move that elbow just a little bit, finding all of those attachments, all of that clunkiness and creakiness. Ooh, and then come back. Let's visit each side a second time. Inhale, arms up. Big stretch. Exhale, lean over, hand to the chair. Keep your firm foundation, keep your seat, and then lean over. Now join, you may stay here for more deep breaths, or you can join me with some dynamic movement. Inhale, move the elbow back a little bit out of the way, turn the face and look up at the ceiling. Exhale, turn and look at the floor, and then reach that arm out straight and down low. Ooh, and feel that. Inhale, look back or look up with the arm back. Exhale, look down and reach the arm out. Inhale, look up, move the arm back. Exhale, look down and reach the arm out and then come upright. Oh, so good. Other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hand to the chair, lean over, find your pose, find your way into it. Get that firm foundation, this level seat, and we're reaching and we're feeling the stretch. Stay here if you like, or join me for some dynamic movement, bringing that elbow out of the way. Lift the face and look up, breathe in. Breathe out, look at the floor and reach that arm out straight and down low. Ooh, 2 more. Inhale, elbow back, head up. Exhale, head down, arm out. 1 more. Inhale, elbow back, look up. Exhale, look down, reach that arm out. Oh, so good. Okay, we've moved the spine in 4 directions. Can you see me? 4 directions. So we've got 2 more, which is rotating. So we'll do a gentle twist, and it begins with the hips. So if you bring your hands to your hips, I'd like you to pull. So we're kind of getting cattywampus. You're going to pull one leg back. The feet stay where they are, but now your knees are crooked. One knee is front, one knee is back, and your hips are crooked, and your ribs feel like you're kind of going off off to the side here. This is what we want. So the back arm, we're going to do 3 circles using that elbow. Open to the back. 1, as if we're reaching up and behind something. 2, 1 more. Get that, open up that shoulder space. 3. Now that back hand reaches for the chair, or it can go on our back pocket, or it can go on our hip. So it looks like this. So we started out, now we're crooked, and this back hand can go on the back pocket, it can go on the sacrum, or it can hold onto the chair. The front hand reaches across the lap, under the thigh, behind the knee, and pull into that handful of hamstrings. Inhale, long spine. Check your chin, meaning drop it just slightly, slide your ears back, and slowly glide the nose to look over that back shoulder, really opening. Do a little shoulder shimmy, little shoulder circle. Open that back shoulder so that you can feel the shoulder blades behind your ribs, and you can feel the stretch, the opening that's happening right here in our chest, in our torso, in our rib and lung space, these pectoralis muscles. Breathing here. Oh, so good. Let's do the other side. I'll turn to the sideways so you can see what it looks like. Here we go. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, slide one knee back. So just kind of, we're twisting the hips. The feet stay together on the floor where they were. And this knee comes back. We have a knee forward, a knee back. 3 times now, this back shoulder is going to move. Let's make some big circles. 1, 2, 3. And now this back hand places on the back pocket, or it moves into the center at the base of the spine, that triangular firm bone, the sacrum, or it holds onto the chair. You choose what works for you. The front arm reaches across underneath the thigh, grab behind the knee and pull into those hamstrings. Maybe even do some squeeze massage. Feel those thick, sturdy cords of the hamstrings. Pull in, get a nice grip. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, check your chin, and then slowly, gently, curiously glide the nose and the chin to look back over that shoulder. Do a little shoulder shrug here, get sassy, opening up this space so that we can take deeper breaths. This is so good for our lungs to open up. And then come forward. Nicely done. Let's play around now with opening up our hips. So spread your knees wide. Get comfortable, wiggle a little. Oh, let me do a measurement. Let me let you know. Based on the legs, the length of your legs, and based on the legs of your chair, check in with your body and see if your hips are higher than your knees, because that's what we want. But if you have low back pain or if you have hip issues, you will need to sit even higher. And since I have lumbar vertebra damage, I like to sit higher. So now you're going to notice, if I turn sideways, my hip is even higher now, and that gives me more options. It's easier for my hips to move when they're higher away from my knee. The more scrunched up I am sitting, it's harder. It's harder on my pelvis. It's harder on my low back. And now a lot of our aches and pains come from sitting all curled up and rounded in upholstered furniture. So make sure you practice getting up, sitting up, expanding, and getting those hips higher than the knees. So now let's open the legs so that the knees are wide and we can feel it in our hips. With hands on the hips, do a little shift. Shift over to one side, feel that. Sometimes I can feel all the prickliness. Shift over to the other side. We'll visit each time again. Maybe bring the elbow over, rest it on the knee, and then this back hand, open up, 3 big circles with that elbow, open up, reaching back as if you're trying to get back onto something behind you. Oh, so good. And come up, let's do the other side. Rest that arm, that elbow, 90-degree elbow on the knee, and then 3 times, open up the upper back. Open up, circle number 2. Open up, circle number 3. Oh, it's so good. This is what we need to do to get rid of those boulders in our shoulders, all that clunkiness, that crust, that shield of responsibility and adulting and obligation that we create that just round us. It becomes a heavy rucksack that we carry. So we have to lighten the load. We have to move in it. Let's bring hands to thighs now. Inhale, long spine, lift your ribs. Hollow those armpits, and then let the ribs come forward. Let your belly come forward. Let your back sway. And we're slowly coming down into this, lowering, and shift if you need to shift to allow your pelvis to adjust, because we're tipping our pelvis forward, which is really good for us. And we're coming down halfway as if we're checking out our knees. Coming down, coming down, coming down. Push into the floor. Press your feet, strong legs into the floor, as if you're trying to show off your back pockets. And then let's come rise up again. Now we're going to turn and we're going to inspect one knee. Inhale, long spine, and lean over as if we're coming over toward one knee. We're going to lean over one leg. The other arm, we're going to bring the shoulder down as if we're trying to kiss, as if they're trying to visit. We're trying to get the shoulder toward the knee. They don't really touch. That doesn't matter. We just want this stretch. And then we can also use the hand to push into, gently push that thigh away, move around, push into it a couple times, as if you're just exploring what's happening with that leg in that hip back there. Our weight is not on that hip, so it can move. The leg can move more easily in that hip socket, and then come back up. Let's do the other side now. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, turn, and we're coming over, leaning over this thigh. So this leg is firm. The foot is pushing the floor. You can feel the muscles engaging. This leg is supporting us. We're bringing this round, this shoulder, bring it toward the knee. Inspect your feet here. Breathe. And now just gently sort of push into the flesh of the thigh, just moving gently, feeling the hip bone or the leg bone in the hip socket, because it can move since we don't have body weight on it. It's a little easier to explore, and then come upright. So good. Let's come to center again. Now, if you would like some core work, we can make it difficult so that you get sturdy here. If you're not into that today, then you're going to keep your hands on your knees. But if you want more core work, bring your arms up and hold your arms out as we come down. If you don't want the core work today, hold yourself, let your arms support you, and we're coming down slowly. You can do medium with hands back as we lower ourselves down all the way between the legs, still coming down. 3, 2, 1. So good. Everybody now bring hands to the floor. Come onto your finger pads as if you're piano player playing piano. So finger pads. And this helps us strengthen our hand muscles, which is really good for our wrists, especially if you suffer from carpal tunnel and from our elbows, tennis elbow. It's really good. We have to strengthen our hand muscles to help our entire arm. So good here, breathing here. If you have heart history, you're going to stay here and just let your head dangle and your arms are holding you up. If you do not have heart history, heart attack, pacemaker, high blood pressure, if your provider says that you can bring your head down low, then let your head come down lower to the floor. Let your torso drape off the chair as if your spine is a waterfall and it's just pouring out down onto the floor. Press your feet into the floor to support you and hold you sturdy. 2 more breaths here. If you are holding yourself up with your hands and your fingers are getting tired, come down on, make fists and come down so that you can still get the rest and your torso can drape even as your arms are holding you upright. All right, wherever you are now, let's meet in that halfway, coming up halfway. And then bring your hands to your thighs. Inhale to prepare, and we're gonna rise up. If you want more work, if you want more core work, go with no hands. Inhale, exhale, push down from the pelvis, push down through the legs. We're rising up. You can do no hands, or you can extend your arms, make it as hard, as difficult, as much effort as you want for your core. And we're all upright now. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, turn to one side and bring both arms as if you're holding a box, an invisible box of air, and reach over across that knee, almost as if we're trying to put it down to the floor on the other side, and hold this stretch. And you're pushing into the floor. This leg is really working hard. If you were to touch your muscles right now, you can feel it. It's all those muscles are firm, working hard. Inhale, up and stretch again. Now the box of air is going over to the other side. Reach over, lean over, feel that in the leg, feel the engagement, feel the glutes, feel the hamstrings. Reach, breathe, try and maybe rest that box on the floor. Over to the other side, you choose. Inhale, come back up. Ooh, so good. Now we're gonna lean back a little bit, just a little bit, and lift our ribs, lift our lungs, lift our heart, reach the hands back, look up at the ceiling, and then come forward, turn the palms away, so thumbs are down now, and sweep the arms back behind, back. Now hold on to that invisible box, grab that box behind you, even as we come down forward. Come down, hold that box, squeeze it. Oh, so good. And then come back upright. Whew, how does that feel? Let's do some side shimmies. Move a little, get a little groovy. All right, do some shaking it out. Roll the wrists or arms and then reverse. Maybe wave, shake things around. Maybe shake things as if hands and arms are wet, shake things off. Shaking is so good for our mind-body connection. Get off that stress, get out of that muck, get out of that sense of frustration, like, oof, get it out. Okay, let's come to standing and do a few things standing. You come to standing the way it works for you. And then, because we're going to do some balancing, if you don't balance regularly, I want to make sure you have something to hold on to. So make sure you have the back of the chair, fingertips on the back of the chair, or you have the wall or a countertop or a table to make sure that you've got something. So first we're going to do some more hip and leg work. And I'm going to demonstrate two versions. So first, you can, if it works for you, you can lift the knee up and move the leg in the hip socket, kind of opening it up from wide to wide, or from center to wide, side to side, front to side. If that's what works for you, do it that way. If that doesn't work for you, sometimes the leg's too heavy, my hands hurt, my arthritis is up. So lift that leg, get that leg on the chair. And I just realized my pants are blending in with the wall. I hope you can see me. Lift the toes up and then roll on the heel and just rock that leg back and forth. The standing leg has to have a soft knee, as if you're doing a little dance, but you'll feel this hip moving in the hips, or you'll feel the leg moving in the hip socket gently and easily, and we just get to explore it. And you choose. And even if you can do this version, maybe you try this version to see the difference, to see how we can get in there. It's all about getting in this hip space. That's what helps us. Okay, let's do the other side. So either you lift the knee, hold on to the shin with the hand, and stir the pot with that leg bone, that femur bone, thigh bone, or you get the leg up onto the seat of the chair, draw those toes up, flex that ankle, and then just gently rock the leg from side to side, or I guess it's more kind of from front to back, feeling in it. The standing leg has to have a soft knee in order to allow the hip movement. So good. Yay. Now, standing on your mat, wide legs, wider than hips, wider than body, soft knees, and let's do some hip circles. 1, 2, 3, and reverse. 1, 2, 3. Oh, so good. Now we're going to do some side stretch standing. If you need to touch the chair to keep your balance and equilibrium, please do so. So it could look like this, standing next to the chair, fingertips on the back or on the chair seat. You decide how far you want to go. I'm going to go with the chair back. Inhale, arm up, soft knees. Exhale, lean over. Lean, lean, lean. The knees have to be really soft. And now push your booty back. Show off those back pockets, as if we're kind of squatting down a little. You feel like you're sort of starting to sit down, so that we can experience this full stretch down the side body. So good. If you don't need the chair and you would like to bring your hand down your leg, do that, but it doesn't matter. Breathe here. And then come up to standing. All right, let's do the other side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bending or soften those knees, sort of drop the hips down as if you're just starting to sit down a little bit. So you have to loosen everything as if we could dance. Do a little salsa merengue right here. Orale, and then come on over. Oh, stretch, stretch, feel that. Breathe, whoo, wiggle a little in it. So good. And then come back up to standing. All right, now let's do a forward fold using the chair also. This time we're going to do the seat of the chair to support us. But before we do that, we're going to do some hand work. So let's talk about hands. First, let's make fists and do some wrist circles. And then the other way. Now, open your hands wide, 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 as if you're trying to just make a great big starfish. Big, 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 big. And then pull them up into fist, 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 fist. Make them really tight, really tight. Really, really big. And then really tight, really tight. One more. Really, really big, spread, spread, spread. And then really tight, really tight. Now we're going to do the wiggly as if we're, I don't know what this is, as if we're signing, as if we're practicing to get right, warming up to do ASL alphabet. So just move, 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 move. Or as if we're typing. Remember those old Smith Corona? Anybody remember typewriters? So when our muscles, our fingers had to be strong to push the keys. That was even before Smith Corona. I don't remember what it was. It was a black one and it was thick. All the keys were hard. So let's do that. It was really healthy for us to have strong hands. We've lost that now, unless you're a guitar player or a piano player. So let's do this. Get there. Whoa, can you feel it? Are your hands tired? So now let your hands flop and then just play around with this. Let's open up that wrist as if we're playing the bongo drums or drumming, but backwards with the back of our hands. Okay, now bring your forearms together, wrists and forearms and elbows. And I'm coming up close. You can stand where you are. I'm bending so you can see me in the camera. We're gonna roll the wrists, lift the elbows, roll, roll, express the hands wide, and now reverse. Get everybody included in this. This is our little wrist, arm, elbow dance. It's so good for us. It helps our wrists, it helps arthritis, it helps tennis elbow. All of this is good. Okay, so now when we put our hands flat to hold us in yoga, if we're gonna put body weight on our hands, we have to warm up, we have to use our muscles. So we're gonna warm it up by this. So if we put our hands out flat like this, and then I'm gonna say, lift your hands, bend your hands back. Do you feel what's happening in the wrists? So we're stretching our wrists, bend your elbows and feel it a little differently as if we're sliding our hands up by our ears. And then we're gonna push the arms straight as if we're trying to press against a wall. Feel what's happening there in the wrists. Turn the hands and turn the hands and turn the hands, and the whole forearm starts getting tired. And that's okay, because we don't do this much, but it helps us. Okay, so then bring the hands back again by the ears, by the face, and then push straight as if we're pushing against an invisible wall, and the hands are getting tired. So now spread them, get strong, go strong. And now do tigers, and you're gonna see the difference when I say tiger paw, roar, roar, and you can feel that difference muscularly. I don't know, you can even see it on the camera. It changes what's happening in your entire arm when you utilize all of those little muscles to support. That's what we need. Whew, my hands are tired. That's what we need when we put body weight on our hands in order to protect our wrists and our elbows, in order to help us with arthritis or with shoulder and rotator cuff issues. We have to engage all our muscles. So hands on the chair seat. Now strong hands, right? Get spread like starfish, strong starfish. Now tiger paw, roar. Now here we go, roar. Now it's gonna help us as we walk our feet back and get your feet back under your hips so you can push your hips back, maybe soften your knees if your hamstrings are talking to you. And we're gonna lengthen. It's as if we're pushing our hips back against the wall behind us so that our arms get long, and we're stretching our spine apart. This is such a powerful, deep, delicious stretch for us. Hold your head with the back of the neck. In fact, slide your throat to hold your head up, as if Mama Bear is holding you at the scruff of your neck. She's carrying you in her mouth. That's where you're holding your heavy head. And your ears are listening to your biceps or your elbows, and you're extending, you're pulling yourself apart, breathing and allowing this, because you've got tiger paws or gecko hands attached firmly to the chair seat. Squeeze the arms into the midline as if you have an invisible pocket pillow of air. That box of air between the elbows, squeeze that box of air with the elbows. Breathing here. Push your spine, push your tailbone away from you. Push your back pockets away from you. So good. Walk slowly, come forward. We were there for a few breaths. It was so good for us. It always is. It's a type of inversion. So now we're going to come down lower, forward fold. If you can do a forward fold without the chair, this is what it looks like. You reach your hands to the floor and you let your torso hang. If your hamstrings are bothering you, you bend your knees and we hang like this. If that is not what you want to do today, you can bring your elbows to the chair and hang here and have the support of the chair and still get the stretch of the hamstrings and still get the lengthening of the torso and the release of the low back. If you have heart history, you need to stay over that chair and support it on your elbows or with hands on your shins so that your head and your heart are at around the same level. So you notice in this configuration, my head is not much lower than my heart. And so therefore I am not shifting my heart, my blood pressure and my heart rate and my blood flow capacity. I'm not changing it as much as if I were to hang low. And so you choose, you know your health history, you know what your doctors let you do, you know what your physiology and your body are allowed to do today, not what you did last year, not what you want to do next month, but what you can do today. That is the practice of yoga, recognizing where we are and going little by little. Let's come up right now. And so you choose, you can bring hands to the hips and push yourself up. You can use chair to come up sort of halfway and then find your way, slowly come up because we've been hanging upside down for a while. And now we need to let the blood flow, the lymph, the equilibrium, we need to let it all settle. And now we're going to do balance tree pose. So have your hands on the back of the chair again. Bring your leg standing, shift your body weight onto one leg, soft knee. It has to have a soft knee so that you could dance. The other leg swings open. Now you can leave your toes out far away like a tripod, or you can bring your toes in like a kickstand. You can slide your foot up like onto your shin bone, onto your calf bone, or you can bring your foot all the way up into your thigh. But do not ever, ever rest your foot on your knee. Even though it feels like it fits and it feels like it's made for it, it is not good at all. The knee is not meant to be pushed laterally to the side. And they are complainers. They are passive aggressive members of our team. They will not tell you, they won't tell you no, but they will act up later or they won't work later. They will get their revenge. So do not ever put your foot on your knee. Stand up tall now. Raise your ribs away from the waistline. Hollow those armpits, however you choose. Soften the shoulders. Piano player, piano hands, fingers on the chair for balance so that you can wobble. Wobbling is how we know we're getting better and we're working at our edges, expanding our comfort zone, our ability. But toppling is dangerous and it's frowned upon in this establishment. So make sure you have your hand on something, safety first. Inhale the other arm up, big, big stretch. And now we're going to lean to the side away from the knee. Lift the ribs, point the knee away, even as we're reaching to the other side. Stretch, oh, so good. Come upright, open that arm out now. Turn the palm up, the thumb is behind. And let's do some big, drapey, slow, easy circles as if we're sort of just gesturing behind us, and play around with bringing that arm forward only to the place where you can see it out of the corner of your eye. Let's practice our peripheral vision. And it's going to be different for all of us depending on all sorts of things, right? Cataracts, glaucoma, all sorts of things. So it doesn't matter where your arm goes. I just like to engage as much of our body as possible. And so it's fun to play around with our vision at the same time that we're opening up our shoulder. So reverse direction if you have not already. If you have rotator cuff or shoulder issues, you can use your elbow. Bring your hand and bend your arm and use your elbow to make the same sort of gestures here. And if that's still too much, rest your hand on your thigh and do shoulder shrugging in each direction. You go with what works for your body. All right, let's come on out. And I'm feeling it in the standing leg. Anybody else? The ankle is saying, we were doing some work. Let's do some ankle circles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and reverse now. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, other side. Shift your weight to the leg, standing leg, supported leg. Soft knee, always have to have a soft knee. Whether you do triple step, Lindy, East Coast swing, merengue, whatever it is you're doing, waltz, foxtrot, we need to make sure that the knee is soft so that the muscles are doing the work, not jamming the joints and closing up your circulation. Now shift that other knee open. Toes can be in tripod or kickstand formation. Foot can be up on your shin, on your calf muscles. And this is, for whatever reason, this is almost the hardest one because the foot tends to slide down. If I can get my foot all the way up to push into the flesh, the meat of my thigh, it's easier. There's friction. It holds in a lot better than trying to hold it on my calf muscle. Okay, here we go. Raise the ribs, stand up tall, hollow those armpits, and inhale, arm up. Exhale, lean over, lean, lean, lean. Push that knee away, stretch. Oh, so good, getting crooked. And then open that arm out wide, turn the palm up, thumb is back, drape it, sort of guide it back behind as if we're trying to reach something behind us. Turn it into some exploratory circular motions. Play around with your peripheral vision just to see, just because it's good for our brains, and the neuroscience in me says, let's do that. Reverse direction if you haven't already. Remember that both sides are always different. So if you could do one arm, but this shoulder's hurting, then do the other version. There are so many versions to explore our body, to do what we are trying to do as far as opening up our rib cage, opening up our lung space, opening up our shoulders, relieving all that stress. So do what works for you today. And then I think we're ready to come out of this and do the ankle circles. 10, let's do 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and reverse. Exaggerate them, make them as big as possible. Move those toes all the way around as if you're trying to touch ceiling, wall, floor, other wall, ceiling, wall, floor, and I've lost count now, but we're doing 10. So wherever we get to 10, that sounds good. Okay, we're going to come down to the floor now. If coming down to the floor doesn't work for you today, if that's not what your body wants to do, you can go ahead and take a seat in the chair, and I will see if I can modify and let you know what the difference would be. If you need to use the chair in order to help you come down to the floor, well, then by all means do that. Come on down. And actually, everybody, please adjust your chair or sit down so that you're facing the chair. So that will help us at one point too. So I'd like you to be sitting on your hips, sit on your bottom, legs are bent, feet on the floor, knees upright. Reach your hands back behind you, put your fingers toward your body, and bend your elbows and move around in this. This is the opposite of how we sit and stand all day. So now our hands and arms are behind us. And we're going to play around, shift your body weight as you need. Peel the hands off the floor. Peel it slowly, slowly, slowly. Ooh, feel that, stretching all of those finger muscles. Wow, let's do 2 more times. Maybe come onto the inside and stretch those first two fingers. Wow. Okay, plant the hands, fingers wide. Let's do it again. Peel it slowly. Peel from the wrist, lift the palm, curl those fingers backwards. Wow. Okay, that's a lot of stuff. Hands on the floor now, elbows wide. Squeeze the elbows together. And then lift your heart, lift your ribs, press your ribs up to the ceiling. The arms don't have to be straight, but we're squeezing the elbows behind us, and we can feel the shoulder blades behind our ribs. Oh, so good. Push your ribs up, lift your hearts. We lift them up to each other. So good. Breathe here. Now shift your hips, bring your feet together, and we're going to move forward into cobbler's pose. So I tend to rock from side to side because of my lumbar injury, my low back injury. I can't just bend forward. My body doesn't like to do that. So I rock a little from side to side. That allows my hips to open. It allows my pelvis to tilt. And now I can be forward. And we're going to hang out here for 3 breaths. Just breathing and letting the heavy torso hang, letting the muscles release, feeling it in our glutes, feeling it in our side body, breathing, softening, allowing. I'm going to shift again, rock a little from side to side. That allows our pelvis to adjust. Maybe now I can come onto my elbows. I could not have done that at the beginning of the pose. Breathing and softening, allowing. Letting the heart be heavy, the ribs be heavy, letting the head be soft, let the head dangle. It's above our heart, so even with heart history, you can let your head dangle and then move it a little bit as if you're saying yes or no, or shaking it or looking around, making some circles with your nose. And you'll feel that space between the cranium, the head, and that first vertebra. The cervical spine at the very top is called the atlas. Breathing here. One more big breath. Take a big breath in and then open your mouth and sigh it out. So good. Bring your hands to the floor or to your legs to support and push yourself up slowly, slowly and gently. Okay, so now one leg stays bent in front of us and the other knee comes up. And we're going to pull it, turn into it. I like to put my hand on my belly. So the knee that's up, the hand is on my belly. And the opposite hand is on this knee, holding this knee up. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, pull your hand away, move that belly flesh out of the way. And now we can hug into the thigh. Now I can wrap my arm around that thigh, and I'm going to shift my pelvis a little bit, and you can do the same. Lift a hip, allow your body to adjust to the hard floor, and the back hand reaches back behind on fingertips, piano hands again, and you're going to push that arm straight like a tripod to help hold up that long straight spine, long torso, stretching, extending. Soften the head or drop the chin slightly as if you're clearing your throat, maybe even clear your throat. And you'll feel the muscles changing in the back of your neck. And then let your nose glide over to look toward in the direction of the back shoulder. Breathing here. And then come out. Oh, good stuff. Move around a little. So if we're sitting sort of crisscross now on the floor, move around a little forward. Wiggle. I don't know if you can see here, if I turn a little more this way. So this is what I'm sitting like, and I'm just shifting, moving my body a little, making a circle around one way, and then coming around and moving the other way. If sitting on the floor is too difficult, if it hurts your hips, this is where, again, that folded blanket or folded towel comes in really handy, because if you just sit your hips, if you sit your bottom a few inches higher than the floor, oh my gosh, it makes such a difference with your pelvis and your low back and your hip accessibility. Your knees feel better. Try it if you haven't done it. So I'm going to do that this time for this other time around. So we have that bent leg, and then we have the upright knee. The hand of the upright knee comes on the belly. The other hand comes across to the knee. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, pull the flesh away as you turn into this thigh, and then hug. Wrap that arm around and hug into that thigh. Oh my goodness, reach the back hand behind, come up onto fingertips, piano hands. Press that long, straight arm to extend the long, straight spine. Inhale, exhale, check your chin. That means drop it just slightly as if you're clearing your throat. And then glide your ears back and turn your nose to look behind, breathing here, pressing that foot into the floor. Engage the low belly, zip the low belly, raise the ribs away from the waistline. Breathe. So good. All right. We're going to come onto the floor now without the folded blanket. And come up close to your chair. But first, we're going to just come back onto our spines and bring our knees into our chest. Maybe the knees are close together, maybe they're far apart. It doesn't matter. You choose what works for you. And we're going to play around with just sort of moving the body, rocking from side to side, maybe moving or pulling one leg toward us and letting the other knee fall away. We're holding one shin in each hand. And we're just sort of moving like a frog on its back. And now bring your feet onto that chair and find the place that works for you. So in this case, I'm going to bring my chair a little closer to me or wiggle my body to get closer to the chair. If our hips are right below our knees, it feels really good. And then shift to let the ground or let your body accommodate this firm ground. Curl your spine, allow your spine to have its normal curves, the space underneath. If there's a pocket underneath your low back, you could slide your hands under. Allow that. Wiggle your hips a little. And then bring your arms out wide or down to your sides. Turn the palms up. Take a big breath in, maybe even shrug your shoulders and then move your shoulder blades behind you and sigh it out. Close your eyes. And we'll be here for a couple minutes. And then I will remind you that it's time to wake up. So this is our Shavasana pose, our final resting pose. Breathing. Let your feet and legs get soft and heavy. Let your body breathe itself. Shift or wiggle just a little. See if you can be 5% more comfortable. Let your belly get soft and heavy. Let your hands and arms get soft and heavy. Let your ribs and shoulders get soft and heavy. Soften your neck. Soften your jaw. Soften your eyes. Soften your brow. Release those furrows that we create of focus or effort or worry. Just soften, maybe even move your eyebrows a little bit right now. Move your forehead to let your body know it can let go of the stuff that you don't need to hold on to. Life will be there. Life always is. Being here. Breathe. Young Pueblo reminds us that it did not happen overnight, and it was not given to me by another. I am the maker of the happiness and love growing within me. Bring your knees to your chest. Hug in, roll a little, rock from side to side, and then roll over to one side all the way and push yourself up to sitting. bring your hands together at heart center and we'll finish class. You can join me if you're comfortable doing so. I will chant Om one time, inhaling. Om. Bring your thumbs to your forehead and lift your chin comfortably, taking in a big, full, deep breath. And then I bow to you. Thank you for joining me at class. I leave you with this loving kindness metta blessing. May we all be safe. May we all be healthy. May we all be at peace. May we all be happy. Thank you for joining me here with Hidden Heroes and the C3 programming. Thank you, Elizabeth Dole Foundation and Wounded Warriors Project and the VA. I have been honored and humbled to be a part of your practice, a part of your well-care. And I appreciate listening or hearing from you. If you've got any questions, please put them in the chat box.
Yeah, thank you so much, Sonia. So we did have one quick question that came in. So we had someone inquire that they noticed that last month was mostly chair yoga and that this month was kind of a mix of chair and mat. So what can we expect for next month?
Great question. Oh, I'm so glad you asked. Next month, we've got a delicious treat in store for you. We're going to present restorative yoga. And restorative yoga is not active movement. Restorative is just what it sounds like. It's a series of little naps. And we'll do it lying down, mostly lying down. Sometimes it's a little bit of sitting, kind of leaning to one side in what we call shapes. It's like stretching out in a shape and then drifting off into a little nap. So you will want to have lots of comfortable equipment. You will want 2 or 3 blankets, preferably sturdy, like cotton woven. The soft polyester fleece is too squishy. It doesn't help as much, but some sturdy blankets or towels or beach towels, bath towels or beach towels, a sofa cushion if you don't have a yoga bolster. If you have a yoga bolster, you'll want it. Some yoga blocks if you have them. If you don't, then you want some toss pillows from your sofa. You know, the ones that they're decorative pillows. They're a little sturdier. They're a little denser and they're smaller. We can put them in different places to help our body feel better. If you have a quilt, you know, a dense, heavy kind of blanket or bedspread, you can roll it or fold it and put it in a pillowcase. And then it's a sturdy, dense, bulky item. And that is also what we use for a yoga bolster if your sofa cushion doesn't come off easily or if your sofa cushion's too big. This is something you can do lying on the floor is what we recommend. If that is not accessible to you, you could do it lying on a bed, on a mattress. Sometimes mattresses are so squishy that some poses aren't as good, but that's why we have the props, right? We roll the blanket or roll the towel and we support our body. Your loved one, your family member could probably even do some of these restorative poses also. You would have to do the preparation depending on their abilities. And then you do yours and both of you lie back and enjoy it. So restorative yoga next month, August. Oh, it's going to be lovely. And I'm going to be so excited to bring it to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I hope everyone here on the line is looking forward to it. I definitely am. Those are all the questions we had for today. So I'm just going to quickly announce our prize winners. So congratulations to Karen Bunnell, Gail French, Christy Angel, and Rick Haltenhoff. Congratulations, you guys. Please email us directly at events@elizabethdolefoundation.org with a good mailing address, and we'll get those prizes to you. So Sonia, is there anything else you want to cover before we wrap up today?
I don't. Just remember, honor where you are today. Let the old stuff go and work on allowing and being and honoring and loving yourself where you are. And that is the practice of yoga day after day, because life can be enduring and we have to continue to be loving.
Thanks so much, Sonia. So if you're not already registered with HHCC, we definitely encourage you to join our Facebook group for updates. Our group is an inclusive community for military and veteran caregivers of all service eras. If you care for a wounded, ill, or injured service member or veteran, we would love to welcome you into our community. Just visit hiddenheroes.org/register to get started. Be on the lookout for a follow-up email from us that will include the recording of today's webinar, some of Sonia's resources and organization information, and the link to register with Hidden Heroes. And don't forget to register for next month's session on Tuesday, August 10th. As Sonia said, next month's session will be focused on restorative yoga. Registration is required for each month's Maintaining Balance yoga session. To register, just visit hiddenheroes.org/C3. Lastly, as a military or veteran spouse, child, parent, or friend, we know your days are packed with responsibilities. Would having an extra pair of hands help free you up to invest a little more time in yourself? Could you make it to that doctor's appointment that you've been putting off, or sit in a park and read a book, catch up with a loved one, or just take a well-deserved break? That's why we launched the Respite Relief for Military and Veteran Caregivers program, which offers family caregivers of veterans or service members access to free, short-term relief with the help of an in-home care professional. Please connect with us and take advantage of this free opportunity. Thank you everyone for joining us today. And a big thanks to our partners at Wounded Warrior Project and the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs for supporting our C3 series. We hope you enjoyed today's C3. Stay in touch and have a wonderful day.